Former WWE star returns as Jimmy Uso's bodyguard against Jey Uso. Things rumored to happen with Jimmy Uso on SmackDown ahead of Payback 2023. CM Punk makes a heartbreaking comment about Bray Wyatt. Rey Mysterio needs to be cautious throughout Payback. LA Knight plotting major retaliation segment on SmackDown ahead of Payback 2023. John Cena reconciles with 44-year-old rival. WWE bringing in big special guest for Payback 2023. Let's jump right into it. Things rumored to happen with Jimmy Uso on SmackDown ahead of Payback 2023. Jimmy Uso will return to SmackDown ahead of Payback 2023. The 38-year-old star was supposed to have his segment last Friday on the Blue brand, but Bray Wyatt's shocking demise caused WWE to replace it with a tribute show. The last time we saw Jimmy on SmackDown, he was trying to explain to Jey why he cost him his tribal combat match against Roman Reigns at SummerSlam 2023. He ultimately ended up with a super kick to the chin by his own flesh and blood, who quit WWE in a shocking turn of events. Now that we've discussed the whole build-up to Jimmy Uso's return on SmackDown, here are 6 things that could go down during the segment. Number 6. Jimmy Uso forgives his twin. Jimmy told Jey to his face he didn't want him to turn into another egotistical, manipulative, and paranoid Roman Reigns at SummerSlam 2023. He then walked away from his brother, only to return and eat a superkick from Jey. Jimmy Uso's arrival on SmackDown before Payback 2023 could see him talk about his brother's actions. He might say what Jey did was in a fit of rage and frustration, and that he's not mad at his brother. Jimmy could forgive Jey, not realizing that it would make matters worse. Number 5. Tamina makes a surprise appearance ahead of Payback 2023. Fans may wonder how Tamina fits into all the Bloodline stuff. The former WWE Women's Tag Team Champion has known the Usos for a long time. In fact, her main roster debut took place alongside Jimmy and Jey Uso more than a decade ago. Tamina could return to SmackDown before Payback to try to talk some sense into Jimmy. She might say what Jimmy did at SummerSlam 2023 was wrong because Jey would have fixed the whole Bloodline by taking out Roman Reigns. Number 4. Jimmy references his wife, Naomi. Naomi may no longer be a WWE superstar, but she's keeping kayfabe around the Bloodline storyline. The former SmackDown Women's Champion is clearly on her husband's side during this brother versus brother feud on WWE television. Jimmy, while cutting a promo on SmackDown tonight, could reference his wife by saying she convinced him to return to SmackDown and tell the world what he did at SummerSlam 2023 was to protect his brother. Number 3. Paul Heyman plays his mind games. Paul Heyman has been with the Bloodline from the start. The wise man has seen it all. He knows the faction's strengths. He even knows their biggest weaknesses. The Bloodline trusts him so much that they asked him to deliver the news that Jimmy Uso will be on SmackDown. As far as Heyman's appearance on SmackDown tonight is concerned, he could show up to interrupt Jimmy Uso during his promo. The wise man might bring Solo Sikoa with him in case Uso decides to call him out for his mind games. Number 2. Jey Uso makes a cameo. Jey Uso failed to defeat Roman Reigns at SummerSlam 2023. For him, it wasn't the outcome but the events that led to that particular outcome. His flesh and blood betrayed him by costing him arguably the biggest match of his career. Jey could make a cameo on SmackDown ahead of Payback 2023. The former undisputed tag team champion might appear on the giant screen via satellite to have a heated promo battle with his twin brother Jimmy Uso. Number 1. Rikishi confronts his sons. Rikishi hasn't appeared on SmackDown in years, but that might change tonight. The WWE Hall of Famer is active on social media in advancing the Bloodline storyline. Since the current feud is between his 2 sons, Rikishi might finally show up in person on SmackDown tonight. The former WWE Intercontinental Champion could make a surprise appearance on SmackDown ahead of Payback 2023 to confront his sons for their actions. Rikishi could try to talk sense into them, or tell them to settle their differences at Payback. CM Punk makes a heartbreaking comment about Bray Wyatt. AEW star CM Punk spoke about Bray Wyatt's tragic passing at the Cauliflower Alley Club ceremony 2023. The Second City Saint received the Iron Mike Mazurki Award at the Cauliflower Alley Club ceremony 2023. The AEW star delivered a heartfelt speech upon receiving the award. Punk also spoke about several legends of the ring who have passed away over the years. He opened up about Bray Wyatt and Jay Briscoe's passing as well. Here is what Punk said. "I am now at the age where unfortunately my contemporaries are passing away. Jay Briscoe, Bray Wyatt. 2 people who should still be with us. 2 people who I consider to be young still. Terry Funk recently just passed away. I was fortunate to know Terry Funk. Terry Funk lived the life. I think if you were to ask Terry right before he went, 'Are you ready to go?' he would have told me he was ready to go 10 years ago. But Bray, Jay Briscoe, I don't think they were ready. So I think it's important to remember them." Wyatt made his WWE main roster debut on the road to SummerSlam 10 years ago. By then, CM Punk had firmly established himself as one of WWE's top stars. He had delivered delivered an instant classic with The Undertaker mere months ago at WrestleMania 29. CM Punk made his WWE exit in early 2014 following the Royal Rumble event. In November 2013, he wrestled Wyatt in a bunch of multi-man matches that also involved the likes of Cody Rhodes, the Usos, and Rey Mysterio. Fans would have loved to see these two legends face off in singles competition. Do you think Punk and Wyatt would have feuded at some point if Punk hadn't left WWE in 2014? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Rey Mysterio needs to be cautious throughout Payback. On SmackDown last month, Rey Mysterio shocked the WWE Universe when he beat Austin Theory to become the United States Champion. While fans were happy for Mysterio, originally, it was not him who was supposed to win the title. Instead, it should have been his teammate Santos Escobar. However, an attack from Austin Theory before the match ruled Escobar out of his title opportunity. Rey Mysterio was then selected to face Theory, and the rest is history. This weekend, the Hall of Famer will defend his United States Championship against Theory. However, along with the 26-year-old star, Rey needs to be cautious of his teammate Santos Escobar. WWE could play an angle where fans could see Escobar launch an attack on Mysterio, or cost him the title at Payback. If the 39-year-old star does this, the betrayal could lead to a big-time feud between the two members. Also, this angle will leave the future of LWO in doubt, similar to the Bloodline story. While the scenario is speculative for now, the chances of Escobar's heel turn are very high. This angle would also help generate more interest in SmackDown, considering the next 7 weeks will be massive for the Blue brand, since John Cena is scheduled to make consecutive appearances. The WWE Universe right now is witnessing an interesting time, as Rey and Dominic Mysterio are both holding singles titles. While Rey is the US champion, Dominic holds the NXT North American Championship. This is indeed a proud moment for the Mysterio household. However, the Judgment Day member thinks otherwise. Dom felt it was sad that Rey needed a title to overshadow his achievement. Further, Dominic Mysterio explained the differences between the belts in an attempt to prove he was bigger. Not at all. You know, I think it's kind of sad that he, Rey Mysterio, feels the need to win a title to try to overshadow what I'm doing. It doesn't matter because he's the United States champion. I'm the champion of all of North America, which includes the United States, Canada, and Mexico. I think it's sad that my dad feels the need to try and overshadow me with his singles title, but whatever. He's a deadbeat, said Dominic. At WrestleMania 39, Dom faced Rey Mysterio in a match to settle their feud. While the former did try to get the better of his father, Rey's experience helped him as he put a massive beating on his son. It will be interesting to see how WWE uses the father-son duo in the future. LA Knight plotting major retaliation segment on SmackDown ahead of Payback 2023. The popularity of LA Knight seems to be increasing every time he makes a televised appearance on SmackDown or Raw. Over the last few months, Knight has been one of the most popular stars in WWE and receives a huge pop wherever he goes. This is one reason why WWE has been giving Knight a push. The 40-year-old won the Slim Jim Battle Royal match at SummerSlam 2023 and is now involved in a feud with The Miz. This week on Raw, the A-lister impersonated LA Knight in a segment that was considered a massive hit. While the host of Miz TV might feel he won the battle here, Knight might have something better in his repertoire. On SmackDown this week, it won't be a surprise if LA Knight comes out impersonating The Miz. In January, during an episode of Friday Night Show, the former $1 Million champion impersonated the late Bray Wyatt, with whom he was involved in a feud. The megastar's impersonation of Wyatt led to appreciation from wrestling fans. It won't be shocking to see Knight impersonating The Miz on SmackDown this week. If the 40-year-old chooses to do the same, it will be interesting to see if he can generate the same response and praise The Miz got on Raw. On Monday Night Raw this week, when LA Knight's entrance song hit the arena, fans were excited to see the megastar make a walk to the ring. However, this excitement was turned into disappointment for many, as it wasn't Knight who came out, but The Miz, who was impersonating his rival. While many considered the A-lister's impersonation of Knight to be hilarious, the latter believed Miz did it because he was jealous of him. The 40-year-old star also mentioned that The Miz wanted the same level of success as him. In an interview with Claves Online, LA Knight said, "He is jealous of me, and you know why? Because he's always wanted to be me. I'm not saying he knew who LA Knight was years ago. What I mean is that he wanted the level of success that I've come across. He wanted the adulation that I've come across. He's wanted the reactions that I've gotten, people chanting his name, quoting him. Instead, the best reaction he's ever got in his entire career was walking out as me a couple nights ago on Raw. Until now, Knight and The Miz have spoken against each other multiple times. They have also caused distractions in each other's matches, which has led to losses for both. However, the duo will settle this feud at Payback 2023 when they face off in a singles match. John Cena reconciles with 44-year-old rival. Ever since John Cena's return to SmackDown has been announced, fans are speculating about who he'll encounter. Recent rivals like Grayson Waller and Austin Theory are on the blue brand, as is everyone's favorite, LA Knight. Old rivals like AJ Styles and Bobby Lashley have also been mentioned, but one name has flown under the radar, Carlito. The 44-year-old was rumored to have re-signed with WWE after his roof-blowing hometown cameo at Backlash, but hasn't been seen since. This isn't out of place with the company of late, with Eric Young having been signed and released without appearing on any programming over the past year, and the Authors of Pain also rumored to be under contract since 2022. What if Triple H and his team were waiting for the right moment to reintroduce Carlito? What if the return of iconic rival Cena is just that moment? What if, given the huge babyface pop he received in Puerto Rico, he returns as a heroic version of his character? Carlito saving John Cena from a heel attack and finally reconciling with his fierce rival after their epic 2004 feud would be a nice way to wrap up their story. It would also be a great launch pad for a babyface run for the 44-year-old star, who had arguably the loudest pop of the year, which is no small feat given the betrayals, swerves, and hometown pops WWE has served up in 2023. John Cena and Seth Rollins will team up to take on Giovanni Vinci and Ludwig Kaiser on September 8th at the Superstar Spectacle. The Visionary is another star who seems to be on better terms with the Cenation leader after a long history of feuds. The duo are overwhelming favorites to win the bout in India. It remains to be seen if the World Heavyweight Champion and 16-time World Champion will triumph as expected, or if WWE will shock the fans by having Imperium win, possibly with an interruption from Gunther. WWE bringing in big special guest for Payback 2023. WWE is reportedly set to incorporate a big name as the special guest for its next premium live event, Payback, on September 2nd. The match card for Payback has already been announced and stacked with matches including powerhouse names such as Seth Rollins, Cody Rhodes, Rhea Ripley, etc. However, it seems that the show needs a touch-up, and Triple H and the rest of WWE Creative want to make it more memorable. That could happen with the introduction of John Cena into the fold of their premium live event in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. The 16-time world champion will return to the company on this week's SmackDown, with further dates also officially announced for his appearances. WrestleVotes has now reported that WWE will also be bringing in John Cena as the special guest for Payback, hearing rumblings that Payback will have a special guest host this Saturday night, and his name is John Cena. Special guests for a pay-per-view event usually have a narrative presence on the show, and perhaps Cena's addition will do the same. We'll have to wait and see if the leader of Cenation gets involved in the action, or interferes in big decisions for matches on the Payback card. John Cena is officially slated to make around 8 appearances for WWE, and fans are excited to have him back for more time than usual. Many fans have gotten used to the Cenation leader's status as a part-timer now, considering his busy schedule as a movie star. So, it came as a huge surprise when it was announced that the 16-time world champion is making a steady comeback. Cena will be a regular feature for SmackDown going forward, with his first appearance for the blue brand coming on September 1st. The cause for this pleasant surprise came to light in a report that clarified Cena's new schedule. Ringside News reported that the Fast and Furious star has had his filming schedule cleared up quite a bit because of the SAG-AFTRA strike, which has halted many Hollywood productions and made Cena available to book dates. John Cena's last feud came against Austin Theory for the United States Championship, which saw him wrestle a match at WrestleMania 39 that he unfortunately lost. It's unclear if he will pick up many matches in this run for WWE or get locked into a new feud with another star. Who do you want to see John Cena feud with this time? Sound off in the comments section below. Former WWE star returns as Jimmy Uso's bodyguard against Jey Uso. WWE might be delaying the feud between Jimmy and Jey Uso, but it is inevitable. The twins could face each other at a major premium live event instead of Payback or Fastlane, with lots of storytelling left to do. Jey quit WWE on SmackDown 6 days after Jimmy Uso betrayed him at SummerSlam. The latter will appear on this week's episode of The Blue Brand and further explain his actions, while it remains to be seen when the babyface returns. Once WWE gets the ball rolling with the feud, several different elements can be added to further the stakes. New characters may be introduced, including some we haven't seen for years. One of them is related to the Usos. Manu, son of Afa Anoa'i, recently stated that he could return as part of the Bloodline story. He was a part of WWE in the late 2000s, even joining Randy Orton's legacy group. However, Afa Jr. was kicked out of the group and didn't do anything else of note before his release in 2009. He has since been wrestling on the independent circuit but remains close with Roman Reigns, the Usos, and Solo Sikoa. While While a forgotten name among fans, Manu can come back as a heel to add even more heat on Jimmy Uso. Afraid after getting superkicked by Jay on SmackDown, the elder twin could hire his fellow second-generation star as a bodyguard to protect him. Jay Uso would get beaten down by his returning cousin at every turn before eventually overcoming him and facing Jimmy. This is a fascinating prospect and a solid way to ensure the Usos don't get physical until their singles match finally happens. While the ideal destination for their first ever match would be WrestleMania, that may not be feasible. WWE needs to book the Usos' first singles match in 2023. Crown Jewel in Saudi Arabia seems likely, as it has played host to some massive matches in recent years. The finish doesn't even need to be clean, with Manu potentially spoiling things for Jey Uso. This can lead to the next leg of the story, with Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa getting involved. Meanwhile, the Usos' father, Rikishi, may show up at some point as well. The ultimate conclusion to Jimmy and Jey Uso's feud can come at WrestleMania 40, with the babyface finally winning. The build-up until then will be interesting, to say the least. Are you excited for Jimmy Uso versus Jey Uso? Leave your thoughts in the comments section below.
I can feel the blood creeping up from the heathens. Got will, got fight, got pride, got reason. If they wanna go eat, then you know I'm gon' feed them. If you're coming for me, hope you're ready for a demon. I got eyes in the back of my head, I'm seeing. Take me